Hello and welcome everybody to Pandem Presents. I'm your host, April Thomas, and today we are blessed to have Judy Hewitt. And I'm going to let you continue introducing yourself.
Hi, April. Hello, everyone. My name is Judy Hewitt,
Hi.
and I am a second time author. So I'm so excited to be here with you this evening.
I'm excited too. We've been waiting to do this interview for a while.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
How have you been doing? How's writing? I know you're working on another anthology.
I sure
You
am.
said
I
it was
sure
second
am. Well,
anthology.
yes, yes, yes. Things have been going good. As a matter of fact, I just handed everything in. Um, it's due out April 22nd, rather April 2020. And the second anthology
Okay.
is called A Breaking Point, when life requires a shift. And as you know,
Oh
we
yeah.
all had to do a lot of shifting in the last few years with everything happening with the pandemic
Yes.
and so forth. So it's really
Yes.
exciting.
Yes. Yeah, so let's talk about your first one. Is this
Okay.
you said this was your first? Yeah. And
Yes,
you wrote
yes.
about forgiveness,
I
which is
did.
important.
I did. Now, it is important. So, the first anthology, it turned out that it was really God's calling. Years ago, God told me that I was going to write. I had no idea of the particulars. And when I met the visionary author, and the title of the book was For Such a Time as This, the story of
Mm-hmm.
Esther, when I literally read the first line that says, if you don't speak now, and that was it for me. That was my why. I was
Yeah.
sold. And God just miraculously, just
Mm.
everything just happened so smoothly. It was a best selling book. And as a first time author, I was so excited. We won in like 9 categories with Amazon. And the
Wow.
actual story of forgiveness, it was about a time I spent 10 years ago dealing with my mom and having to be a caregiver for her and
Mm.
not realizing like what's going on, why am I having all these issues. And I had a lot of deep resentment towards things that happened back in my early childhood, and as a caregiver I
Mm-hmm.
really had to
Mm-hmm.
deal with that and realize that God wanted me more or less to submit myself to him and literally work on it. It was work. It wasn't anything that just went away where I went to the altar and said, "Oh my God, forgive me for this or forgive me for that or help me not have these feelings towards my mom." I literally had to do a lot of work to get to a point of healing. So that's what
Wow.
my story was
Wow.
about with forgiveness, on how I had to actually walk through the process to forgive my mom, who I love dearly, but all these feelings just kept coming up. I didn't know where they came from, and I had to deal with it.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. They say forgiveness is for you, not for the other person. And that I really understood that when I had to forgive my ex-husband years ago.
right.
And oh, I broke down. I had to pull over. I was driving. I forgave him while I was driving down the road to my friend's
Right,
house.
right.
And I had spoken to her, and I was just so upset with him with everything that was going on. And it's in that moment, my sister kept telling me, "You need to forgive him, despite everything. You need to forgive him."
Hmm.
And I just turned into a ball of tears. I couldn't even, I had to pull over because I couldn't see to drive, and I just bawled
Wow.
my eyes out. But afterwards I felt so light. And I think when people hold on to this forgiveness, it's like it weighs you down. And I don't think they understand the other side of that forgiveness. It really is for you, not for that person. So he doesn't even know, by the way.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he doesn't even know that, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you know what, too, April? I think that we always say, I'll forgive, but I won't forget.
Mhm.
And that may be true, but you literally have to work it out. You have to
Yeah.
forgive and you have to forget. Not to say that what happened to you, that makes the person, it exonerates the person, but you get
Right.
so much freedom and blessing and you're walking in your purpose, because God wants us to be free. So by holding on
Yes,
to it and not forgetting, and it really does weigh you down. It really, really
it
does.
does. It does. That was a huge weight. So I really liked. I read it. I bought the book. I read it and I loved it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
So I didn't, but I didn't read. I didn't read everybody's stuff. I'm sorry, everybody else. But
Well,
I
no,
didn't. Yeah, I didn't realize it was
yeah,
about Esther, and I do love the story about Esther because
yes,
um, that's a very powerful story, especially for women.
it actually is. It actually is, because I really believe that God prepared her for that time.
Hmm.
She was actually presented, and look at how many people got saved.
Right.
So it makes me say that behind our stories and behind our pain comes so much healing and deliverance and restoration, that if you don't share your story, you don't know who you're not helping. By
Right.
sharing our stories, it really will impact someone.
Mhm. Mhm. It
It
does.
really will.
It does. And I tell a lot of people, I said, everybody has a, I believe everybody has a bestseller in them. Everybody has a story that they need to share for somebody else, and it does help. It does. It
It
does.
really does. It
Yeah.
really does. Because we find out we have so many similarities.
Mhm. This is true.
Where when we come together, we're like, wow, I thought I was the only one going through this.
Yeah. Yeah. And you find out
So it's
you're nowhere near that.
nowhere near that. Oh, nowhere near
Yes.
that. And as a matter of fact, thanks to all of the friends and family and people that I just met along the way that supported me, I have had a few people that reached out to me and was like, oh my God, I need to work on this. I have an issue with my mom, or I
Mm.
had an issue with my brother, you know.
Mhm.
And so just that in itself is
Yeah.
such a big accomplishment and a testament to the glory of God, because I would have
Mhm.
never thought that that story would have been something that would have impacted at least one person, you know.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So
We don't realize what we're doing. Yeah, I've experienced that, and it's just been mind blowing because I'm like, I just wrote this. I wrote this story because I couldn't get it out of my head.
right.
And yeah, I kept being driven to write, write, write.
Right. And you know what? Looking at your magazine, I didn't know you had that many books under your list there. I was like, okay, I
Yes.
thought it was just a magazine.
No, no. I actually started writing in middle school. A friend encouraged me to write, and I told her I don't got nothing to write about. And then I sat down and wrote. I don't know. She'll tell the story. You'll hear about it later. But I sat down and wrote a whole bunch of pages, and she's like, "Yeah, you got nothing to write." But yeah, I started my first book. I originally wrote that story in middle school, and then when I was getting ready to enter high school, I put down writing completely, and then I didn't pick it up again until I was about 33 or 34,
Hmm.
and and then when I sat down to write the first time, I almost threw up.
Wow.
Yeah,
Because you're
yeah.
revisiting the story.
Yeah, but the funny thing is, the part that I was writing had nothing to do with I never wrote that before. It just
Mm.
I don't know where it's and it was a
See,
story about an abused woman. So I don't know where that was coming from. I but I felt this woman's pain as if it was mine. It was so real, and I've never been in the situation that she was in.
wow.
So I wrote about a paragraph, and then I got up and I had to like throw up. I couldn't.
Mm.
I couldn't. And then it was like another 2 months before I even attempted writing again.
To pick it back up, right?
Yeah, and then after that, I couldn't put the pen. I couldn't. I started off with a pen and a notebook, and then after that, I couldn't put it down. I was on a computer writing 10,000 words a day. Just couldn't stop. I was like obsessed. So,
Talk
yeah.
about a stream of consciousness, right? It was just
Yes.
flowing.
Yes. 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 And um, it just I don't even know. They say for I don't know if all okay. So you wrote nonfiction. Do you write any?
Right.
Do you do any? You do fiction work also?
No, I haven't. I
You
haven't.
haven't?
Because I'm new at this. I'm a new author. So For such a
You,
time as this was the first
I,
project that
I'm
I attempted to do. Yeah.
I'm curious if you ever sit down to write fiction, if you are going to experience your character speaking to you. This is something that I know a lot of fiction authors talk about. This is normal for us, but it sounds
Right.
crazy outside of that. Yeah, they're like, "Oh, you heard voices? No, you need to go. You need to go see a psychiatrist." But no, it's your
But
characters.
no,
Your characters do speak
oh,
to you.
really?
Yeah.
That's
Mhm.
awesome. Well, I hope I get to that point. I mean, I'm just
Yeah.
enjoying this journey. I never thought I would find a sweet spot in my
Yeah.
life. And
Yes.
as you, I started journaling and writing when I was a teenager.
Yes.
And I
It's good
kind of put it,
therapy.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Mhm.
sort of put it away.
Mhm.
I started journaling again when I was going through the process of forgiveness when I moved to Florida to be with my mom. And
Mm.
watching a sunset that I love to do all the time. I was like
Mhm.
so angry with God, and I was like, Lord, why am I going through this? You know, like I just got out of college, I'm 40. I should be like living my life right now, which was my thought
Mhm. Mhm.
process. And you know, they usually say when you say to God what you want to do, He starts laughing. And at that
Mhm.
at that beach and at that sunset and in me journaling, he was like, "You're gonna write a book," and I'm like, "Really?" And so that's how it
Yeah.
started. But then I didn't pick up the pen until the pandemic.
Right.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
let me tell you, this pandemic, I think it opened a lot of eyes for people. And I think a lot
absolutely.
of people started to follow what they really want to do, you know. And I think that's a silver lining in this pandemic. Yeah. It's still a
I
silver lining in everything.
absolutely. I think God sort of reset the earth and reset
Yes.
our spirit and our minds because prior to that, we were just living life,
Mhm.
not
Mhm.
really thinking that life could ever be the way it was at that time, you know, a couple years ago when it
Yes.
first, you know, started and everything got shut down.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
But as you said, I agree. I think that it was time for a reset, not only for nature, but for
Mhm.
us, you know, as
Mhm.
beings, where we looked inward and
Right.
we looked at self-care. You know, now
Mhm.
mental health care is such a big
A big
topic, but
thing.
it's something that we probably should have been doing all along, you know?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So
I
I
agree.
really think the silver lining to the pandemic was really good for the ones who made it out because, you know, bless the ones that didn't, you know?
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, I mean, we did lose a lot of people. We did lose a lot of people, and that's sad. But it also kind of makes you think you got to find your purpose. Everybody has a purpose. You got to find your
Absolutely.
purpose. Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's worth
And
it.
that has been my walk since the pandemic, literally. What is my
Yeah,
purpose? You
yeah,
know, what am I here to do? What
yeah,
will bring me joy? Because, you know,
exactly.
we have our jobs and thank God
Mhm,
for them. It supports us and pays our bills. But
mhm.
what's your true desire? What makes you just smile inside out, you know?
Yes, yes,
So
yeah,
this
and
is it for me.
yeah, and for me, it's writing. So for you, it's writing too.
Yes, 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 yes. This was my sweet spot. Really,
Yeah,
really, really. So I'm glad that God allowed me to see this time.
yeah,
Then
that's
I get to meet
beautiful.
nice people like you.
I know, and I've been meeting so many amazing authors. I used to do author events when I first started, when I first published. I didn't know anything, and I would do a lot of author events because I was like, why aren't we supporting each other? Like that was always my number one question. Why is it so hard for us to support each other? Everybody's out there shoving their book in everybody's face, and they're not
Right.
stopping to look at each other's books, you know? So
Mhm.
I was like, no, so I used to do stuff before, and then I got busy with other things and stuff like that. But I'm meeting so many amazing authors, so many talented people, and I keep hearing the same message over and over again that God told me to write. God
Mhm.
encouraged me to write. I think And I always think about,
Wow.
like in the Bible had scribes, you know. So we're the scribes
Absolutely.
now. We're the scribes. Yeah, yeah.
Right,
So I think
right,
it's beautiful.
right.
I
And
think it's a
we're
beautiful
gonna
thing.
we're gonna leave an impact that's gonna, live on beyond
Hmm.
our time here.
Yeah, yeah. So I think it's a wonderful thing. So you're from Trinidad.
Yes. So are you.
You
And
know we
you
got to
know
bring
what?
it up.
That's what attracted me to reaching out to you because remember, you had a post like,
The
let's do
post, the book
a susu.
susu.
And I'm like, wait a minute. That's
Yeah,
a great idea. Like, who is this thing? Like, I know what that is.
oh my gosh. Yes, yes. Yeah, I was literally like just sitting at home like, you know, when you want to buy a car or buy a house, you join a susu. And
Absolutely.
so I'm like, we want to kind of uplift our books. Why don't we create a book susu? So yeah, I'm having fun with it. I'm having fun.
Oh,
I
that's
wish,
awesome.
yeah, I'm hoping that the crowd grows, but then at the same time, I think it is easier in smaller groups to manage and budget wise because it's for people who don't know, the book susu turned into the author challenge. So the author challenge is a group of people who buy each other's books. I do an interview. I post your interview. The day that I post your interview, all the other authors join in and they support you by purchasing your book and sharing your video, sharing your
Right.
book message. So, um, it yeah, I am. This is how I'm meeting so many other amazing people. There's just talented, all ages too. I love it.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
That's awesome. Well,
yeah.
I look forward to joining you on that Susu journey when I do my own project.
Yes, yes.
Definitely,
Yes,
definitely.
definitely, definitely. I'm
Yeah.
starting. I'm starting a second one, so that one's starting to grow. Um,
Oh,
but yeah,
good.
when I'm gonna try to keep it going, at least every month or every couple of months, just keep it going. As soon as I can get those groups together, I'm gonna just go ahead with the next one. But yeah, it's fun. I'm having fun with it because what I like is I would never, and I hate to say this, but I would never on my own with all the stuff that I have to do on a day to day basis. I would never stop to take the time to even really look at someone else's book. You know, we're so
Mm.
bombarded with life.
With,
And it's
mhm.
not like it's not anybody's fault. We're bombarded, and
Absolutely.
we don't take the time. Like I have to because now it's a part to me. It's like okay, this is a part of my job. I have to look at your book. I have to
Exactly.
research your book. I have to purchase your book. I have to look at you. I have to read a book. At least read parts of it. So,
Right, right.
yeah. So I
So
think it's
it
great.
kind
I'm
of
having
forces, but it forces us all to get connected. And it
yes,
also forces us all to support each other, which is the
yes.
ultimate goal.
Which is the ultimate goal. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
This first one, the youngest I had, it was 20. She's 26 years old. She's a Christian fantasy author, and she wrote an amazing book. And she was brought in by her father, he's another brilliant artist, author, same thing.
Right.
So like it's really amazing. And then the stories are so fascinating. Some
Oh my God.
nonfiction, some fiction. Yeah,
Right.
it's good. It's
Right.
good.
Right.
Yeah. So
Well,
I
I
am
think,
looking forward to you doing that.
oh, I
And
can't wait. It's in the mind. I just got to get it on paper. But I'm glad that God took me in this direction because
mhm,
with the anthology, it was just one chapter, 15 words. It was a group effort
yeah.
and it was very seamless.
Right.
So
Okay.
it made it really palatable. I
Right.
learned a lot. I met
Right.
a lot of amazing people, and that's why I signed up for the second project. But I wanted to have content that when I speak with, great people like you, that I'll have more content other than just the one book. And so then I'll do my own solo project probably next year in 2023.
Is it going to be a fiction or a nonfiction?
I don't know yet. I don't know. I have no idea. I really
Okay.
have no idea what God wants me to do.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Another thing that I found was once I started writing, I had so many stories to tell
Hmm.
that it was like,
Hmm.
okay, which
Yes. Yes.
story are you going to talk about? Because we've all been through so many things in life that there's so much to really glean from
Yeah.
and talk about. And, hopefully somebody would learn from the experiences. So I'm really not sure what I'm going to do, but I'm excited about doing a solo project.
You're gonna love it. I think you're gonna love it. I think that's great. Um,
Yeah.
the thing,
Too.
yeah, you're gonna enjoy it. You're gonna really, because I mean, there's challenges when you go. I could see where anthologies are really good, especially when it's your first time, to kind of like
Mhm.
see how the process is and how it goes. I think that's brilliant to start that way, because when I started, I didn't know nothing, and I didn't have anyone around me that knew anything. So I just
Mhm.
like I was like a crash course dummy, just going through the whole publishing process. So,
Right.
you know, I think the anthology route, for so if there's anybody out there who is thinking about writing but you're not sure, you don't know if it's something you'd like, look into anthologies. I think that is really smart. Yeah, because
Yeah. Just
you're
to
just
get your
one
feet
chapter.
wet.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. See how the
yeah.
process is. I totally agree. And it was God, believe you me. As I said, I had no idea how this was going to start. When he told me 20 years ago I was going to write, it's like, yeah, okay. And never knew how it was going to go. But he literally walked me through the process and connected me with such great people that it was a
Wow.
seamless process.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. So you're not sure if you're gonna write fiction or nonfiction.
No, I'm not sure yet. But you know what? I love poetry so much. Like Nikki
Mm.
Giovanni was like my favorite person.
Oh
I don't even
wow.
know if I may do poetry journal. I don't
Yeah.
know what I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna do a solo project.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
we'll be here to
Another
support
thing,
you.
thank you, hon. Thank you. Well, another thing that I thought about doing was doing a journal to the book itself. And having like
Oh.
more as an ebook to do with the journal on forgiveness, walking through the
Hmm.
steps and things like that. So that's another thing I've been kind of rolling around in my mind about doing a journal or so to add to the content that I already have done.
Okay. I like that. I like that. And
Yeah,
like even like you saying, to like a forgiveness journal, maybe something like that. Like a
exactly,
walking this.
exactly.
Yeah.
Walking through
I
the
think that's
steps,
needed.
add the chapter to it, add the
Yeah.
chapter that I've already written to it and just kind of do it. So I've got a lot of things. I just haven't decided yet which way God wants
Which
me to
route?
go.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. So what do you say to like people who I know there's things they say that, well, like the act was so unforgivable. How do
Hmm.
you what would you say to someone who says, I can't forgive? I can't do it. It's what they did was so horrible. I can't forgive them.
I would say to look at the Word of God because He wants us to be free. He wants
Hmm.
us to be happy. And if you're thinking about it as being unforgivable, but you're unhappy,
Hmm.
or if that situation keeps playing in your mind like a recorder, you know how
Right.
sometimes the mind will go, it'll hit play,
Hmm.
it'll play the situation out, you'll
Hmm.
hit pause, but then it'll rewind and play again. Then you
Yeah.
really need to look at the Word of God and look within yourself to really work on it. And it is a job. You have to show up, you have to be
Hmm.
present, you have to want to forgive. It's not easy as just saying to the person, forgive me. Or if the person dies, write a letter and write it out just because you have to get it out.
Hmm. Yep.
But
Yep.
sometimes you may have
Yeah.
to get it out several times.
Yes. Yeah. I've been there. Yeah, I've been there with my ex. Even after I broke down and cried on the side of the road and forgave him, he was wonderful to piss me off again.
Right, right. And you
And
have
I
to go
learned,
you have to go
yeah,
through
I
it.
learned that I had to keep forgiving him. Yeah.
It
I had to
is
forgive him and I also had to forgive myself.
myself, right? And it
That
is
was
a
the other thing.
process. And sometimes
Yeah.
you feel like
Yeah.
it is unforgivable. I mean, sometimes, like what happened to me wasn't so horrific. It was more mental, emotional. It wasn't physical abuse. But still, we
Mm.
all have some
Yeah.
residue of whatever it is we go through, whether, it's actual
Yeah.
abuse or mental, or, there's always some type of residue. So
Yeah.
I would definitely say pray about it, search your heart, search your mind. And if you're tired of being tired of that recorder playing in your
Mm-hmm.
mind on that situation, you're going to have to yield to it.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes. Um, the other thing I wanted to add to that is that I've found in certain situations where it's like you feel like there's no justice being served for you. You
Hmm.
know, for example, for people who, in cases of rape, gang rape, where they feel like, and the criminal gets basically a smack on the hand, and that's it, and they feel like they're not being justified and they're not being heard. I found personally that reading Psalms 37 has helped,
Yes,
because when God is angry, whoo, you
absolutely.
know, yeah, yeah, but it's something about reading Psalms 37 that really helps put in perspective that nobody gets away with anything, no matter what,
That is
you
so
know?
true.
Yeah,
That is so true. And it's
yeah,
funny that you said that because there was a psalm that my grandma used to, and I think that was the one where you say, plead my cause, O Lord, with them
yeah,
that strive with me, fight
yeah,
against those that fight against me, like
yes,
without cause, they just hating on me for without any cause.
right, yes,
And you
yes,
feel like you're literally pouring out to the Lord, like, help me with this.
yes,
And
yes,
you sometimes do have to dig deep and you have to go to the word of God because you can't do it in your own strength.
right, right. And I always say dig deeper. Like, and even when like I'm redoing my whole line of books because I wrote most of these books almost 10 years ago now,
Hmm.
and I realized that the way I wrote 10 years ago, I don't feel like I actually told my whole story. I didn't tell the whole story because I didn't know how. So like I tell people, I didn't know what I didn't know at that time. So
Right.
now I'm going back and revisiting, and I didn't change anything. I just wrote what was supposed to be there. I just enhanced it and added to what was. I didn't take anything away. I added to it. What was,
Attitude.
yeah, what was supposed to be there, and I found like it was so much more healing just reading that book. Even
Mhm.
me as a writer, I do like I've had people come to me and tell me it's actually helped them deal with like rape, molestation, suicide. They said that it's actually helped them, and
Awesome.
but they're not the only one. It helps me also, So yeah,
Right.
I think
Right.
we go deeper. Yeah, there's a lot
And,
more.
and
I find that with certain songs. Yeah.
and I think you're right on a point there when you say go deeper. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's really where it is. You have to go deeper because you
Yeah.
want to be happy.
Mm-hmm.
It's our
Mm-hmm.
birthright to be happy. God
Yes.
wants us to be happy. It's our birthright. It's our birthright
Yeah.
to prosper.
Yeah.
It's our
Mm-hmm.
birthright to be free. And
Mm-hmm.
these things
Mm-hmm.
really hold us down. It really hold us down. And it's not until you're over it that you realize how much you were weighted down with it.
Right. Yes. And when you get that, when you feel that lightness, that's all you want to feel. You want to keep
Exactly.
feeling that. So, yeah,
Exactly.
forgive. Don't
Exactly.
hold on to it. Yeah.
You
Yeah, it's
can't. You
worth it.
can't.
It,
It is
yeah.
worth it. It's priceless.
Mhm. Yes.
You can't put a
What's
price on
funny in therapy? I say,
it. Right. 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 Or
yeah.
sometimes I see someone may put a sign up that says, Stop having people live in your mind for free,
Right. Oh,
because
yes.
it goes over and over and over. The recorder just plays of these situations, and it's like, for what?
Yeah. For what? Yeah. For what? Yeah, you just gotta forgive. I always remember, forgive yourself also. You gotta forgive yourself for accepting
You
that
do.
behavior. You know,
You
yeah.
do. You
or,
do.
or
You
thinking
do.
that you were somehow wrong for. I know sometimes, especially like with rape victims, sometimes they feel like they did something wrong, you know, to put themselves in
Exactly.
that situation. Forgive. Stay tuned for a short commercial break.
Forgiveness is a painful word, but it's also the most liberating. When you decide to let go of the pain and forgive, you are actually freeing yourself from the past. This is the message that forgiveness conveys in For Such a Time as This, an anthology of stories from men and women who decided to defy the odds and move past mountains of uncertainty because they knew God had called them to fulfill a bigger purpose for their lives.
Yourself. Just forgive
Yes.
yourself, you know.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
and
Yes.
my other thing is, when you say people, like you mentioned that you were angry at God at one point, how did you overcome that?
By staying in the word. Once I started to go through the process, I had to ask God to forgive me
Yeah,
because,
yeah.
I didn't mean to be angry at him. It was just that you
Mhm.
just wanted it to work out.
Mhm.
It
Mhm.
wasn't his fault. But what I realized too in life is that we all go through what we go through, but it's always for a purpose. It's for our good and for his glory. You know how they
Mhm.
say there's pain in your purpose?
Yes.
Because you'll say, Lord, why did you use that for us to get here? We don't know. But we just got to trust him that he knows what's good and what's best for us.
Mhm. Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know I've heard people that they anger. Well, if they'll say, oh well, if there was a God, then this wouldn't have happened to me.
Right.
And
Right.
I hate to say it, that's just not how it works. I hate to say that.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
What they say, it comes to the just and the unjust. I mean, we
Mhm.
all, it's his plan. But I
Mhm.
think that once you weave the thread and you look at the lifespan and the situations we all go through, on the
Mhm.
other side of it is always victory. But you have to
Yes.
be connected to someone higher than yourself. I don't think
Yes.
it's something you could do in your own being. You have to be
Mm-mm.
connected to, the most high, something higher than
Yeah.
yourself. Some people say the universe, I call him Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah.
you,
Yeah.
you got to have a higher power.
Yeah. Yeah. One thing I realized in writing, when you're writing fiction, you're writing like I don't. This might be surprising to some people, or maybe not. If you read Endurance, you may not be too surprised. But I don't consider it Christian fiction. I actually don't. The
Right.
reason, yeah, a reason, and I talk about God, I talk about angels,
Hmm.
even dumb old Satan got a cameo in there.
Right, right, right,
You got to have a good villain. You know what I'm saying? So who's the best villain? Let's just be honest.
right, right, right.
So, but what I noticed with people is when they, and I actually learned this, um, I had, after my divorce, I did see a holistic therapist.
Mm.
And we got into talking about certain words that people will mentally kind of block out. And God is one of them, which is
Mm.
kind of sad.
Really?
But
Wow.
yes. So I try to use the word God sparingly in my writing, sparingly. I'll use
Hmm.
creator. I like creator.
Yes, yes.
They don't tend to have a block against the word creator. It's really interesting, but it's a mental block. And
Wow.
it's Satan is busy, like we say in the island. Satan is very busy.
Yes.
So yeah, but I learned that there's another word that people don't care to, that they kind of don't like. It's a low key don't like, is change. They don't like change.
Mm.
If you say enhance, their mind is like,
Their
oh yeah,
mind is
okay,
more open.
right. But it's the same thing. It's the same thing as
But
change.
that's
It's just
good to know, April. That is really
yes,
interesting.
yes, yes.
That is
Words are
interesting.
so powerful. Yeah, words are
Yes.
so
Yes.
powerful, and it's
Yes.
just how you word it. Yeah, if you word it, you can word something in a way. That's why I always tell people, it's how you say something makes a big difference. You
Right.
can say the same have message, but if it's, if it's said kind of harsh or use a lot of the words that people are trying to mentally block out, your message is not
Mhm.
going to get across. So I learned that. Yeah, it's interesting. The brain is amazing. I love the human brain. I think it's amazing.
Yes.
The
Yes.
things that we can do. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. But that is such a good revelation there on, the things that come to people's mind as to whether or not if they will open up or if they will shut down.
Hmm.
That is really
Yeah.
good to know. Thanks for
Yeah.
sharing that.
Yeah. Anytime. I love researching. I love knowledge. So
Hmm. Hmm.
I used to study Proverbs. I think I studied Proverbs till I was reciting it.
Good,
But
good.
yeah, it's good because it I feel like when you study it like that, really helps you breathe it. You breathe
Yes,
not just the words, you breathe the energy, the essence of what the message is. So yeah, but
right,
one of the things I learned is chase knowledge, seek knowledge.
right,
So I don't know, I
right,
love it. Yeah.
right, 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 right.
Yeah, yeah. That was one
No,
of the
and
things we taught.
you're right about that because as the words say, we perish from the lack of knowledge,
Yes,
you
we
know.
do. We
So
do.
you're absolutely correct.
Yeah. And I mean, and even in is it Proverbs? I think it's Proverbs. It says the funny part. Yeah, study, chase knowledge, but or chase knowledge, but don't overstudy, because
Mm,
overstudy wearies the mind. That it says that, and it's true. It is very true. There's nothing wrong
it,
with chasing knowledge, but there's a balance, is what I understood
it's
from that. You got to have
balance,
a balance.
right?
Yeah,
Right. I
yeah,
think we need balance in lots of areas too.
yes,
You know,
yes, and
we,
like that's what I've been learning, and that's what I've been learning with the magazine. The magazine has really opened my eyes a lot too. With because then I try to write. It's more of a nonfiction thing, and I'm not big on nonfiction writing. I'm more of a fictional writer, but I have to write some of the articles. And like our next magazine, we want to talk about, we want to collect the histories of our the stories of our ancestors, basically.
mhm.
So Black history and Native American history and island history. Like I want to collect all that history. It's impossible to
Right.
collect it in one magazine, but
Oh
it's
no.
some in there.
Yeah. Well, a
Yeah.
little bit here, a little bit there. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I know we were talking to you actually helped me piece together uh my background with my grandmother, because my grandmother always told me that she was born into slavery,
Hmm.
and it ended when she was 5, and she's from St. Vincent, and she said when
Right.
she was 5, her and her mom picked up the family, and minus her dad, and moved to Trinidad. And
Right.
I never understood why they moved to Trinidad. Like, why didn't they just stay in St. Vincent? But
Right.
apparently, in Trinidad, slavery had ended already. So
Exactly.
that's why everybody in the other islands were moving to Trinidad. I didn't know that. And I was like,
Right.
oh, because she never explained that. She said,
Right.
oh, but she was 5, you know? So,
Wow. Wow.
yeah,
Yeah, I know.
yeah.
I
And she's,
remember when we last spoke, we spoke about that,
mm-hmm,
and it's interesting. I think just recently, Barbados got their
mm-hmm.
independence,
Finally,
where
yes,
they're not
yes,
with the British anymore,
right.
because
I, uh-huh,
basically the islands were British rule,
right. Yep.
and I believe Barbados just got their independence.
Yeah,
Just
they did.
this
And the
2022. Yeah.
hmm that the prime minister of Barbados, or the president of Barbados, I love that woman. She's amazing. I love what
Yes.
she's doing.
Oh
She's doing some
yes. Oh
amazing
yes.
things in Barbados. Yeah,
She is. She
yeah,
is. Yeah.
yeah,
So, but we're so much connected, when you look at the
yes.
fabrics of our
Mm-hmm.
lives, we're still so
Yeah.
much connected than we are
Yes.
divided.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, but it's nice. Like when I found everything from Trinidad, I was like, what?
I know. I did the same thing when I was like, ooh, I know some, I know Susu.
Yeah.
But those are the good things
And
that
I said Susu, I think it was like a call I put out. Yeah, it was like a beacon I put out to everybody from the Caribbean. It was like, what? Yeah.
But when I first heard it, I was like, that's a God idea. Because who would ever take it to books? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the same thing
Yeah.
we know about it. As you say, you want to buy a house, you
Yeah.
want to buy a car, you join a susu. Well,
You join
let's do
Susu.
it
Yep.
with books.
Yep.
So my
Yep.
God, look, kudos to you and God. That
Thank
was
you.
all.
Yeah. That was God. Yeah. Because I don't know what I was thinking. It just popped in my head. I said, well, that has to be God. And then I said, let me test this out. And I put it in the group. And it had a very good response. So I was like, okay, that's
Yeah,
definitely God.
absolutely, absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
definitely God. Yeah. So
Well,
I'm glad.
I'm glad you did as well. I am.
Yeah. So tell me more about how did you come into finally fall in love with like really writing professionally?
Well, what I did was I fell in love with words a long time ago. But
Hmm.
as I said, going back to the topic that we talked about in our first book, which was For Such a Time as This,
Hmm.
and literally it just flowed, like you were saying when you wrote a paragraph on a book you had, that it just came
Yeah.
out, it
Yeah.
just flowed. um,
Wow.
what I did not know that I learned was how to pattern your actual chapter. That the
Mm,
beginning has to be an intro that you pull your audience in.
right.
And then you have your middle, where you speak of your story. And then towards the end, you have a win, whereas
Hmm.
people will leave with something. So I learned that. But just
Mm,
putting everything down on paper was really a relief. Then
hmm.
it really got scary because I had to relive that situation again,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
fell in love with words and
Hmm.
how words are put together to
Hmm.
soften the soul, sort of,
Hmm.
or
Hmm.
enlighten the mind.
Right.
So I fell
Right.
in love with the words again. So it was really interesting, but that was just it was like something that was in me that was dormant. And
Hmm.
when the opportunity presented itself and I read the situation, everything just sort of opened up. And it was
Right.
like, where's this coming from? But it was
Yeah.
always there. It was always there.
Yeah.
So I fell in love with words. The story that I'm writing now was even more, and I realized that God was even also taking me through a process. I'm writing now about self care and how I became and how I went to that breaking point in life that I was like, I'm done. But
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
realized I had to forgive first or talk about forgiveness first in order to get to this point
That's true.
where I took my life back. So it's still
Hmm.
Him redirecting me through this.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to
You
keep
know,
working through it.
exactly, exactly. But I'm falling in love with words. I'm falling in love with the Word of God. I'm loving my time spending with Him and Him pouring into me. Sometimes I'm up at night and I'll pull my phone out because things will be dropping in my mind and I got to pull my phone out and write it down. If not, I'll forget it.
Good. Yes. Yes. I, I do that. I do that. And I'll still get a notebook and I'll write out. For me, it'll be conversations. and I'll write up this
Exactly.
conversation between characters. Yeah,
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 yeah. Or if it's a lot, I'll just put the speaker on and just start talking,
talking. Yeah.
into the phone and my notes and just have it. So he's just downloading stuff and I'm just learning, and
Hmm.
it's really been exciting. It really is. I just can't wait to see what else is going to come, on the horizon. But I
Oh,
love
it's
how I learned the process of actually putting it in place, of
yeah.
forming and formatting a chapter to capture the audience in the beginning with my intro, tell my story, and then towards the end, having a win, having a
Right.
reference, a purpose, to whereas it's
And
it's it's
see,
complete.
that, yes, because of how you doing an anthology, you have one chapter, so you got to bring it all into one chapter.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When you're doing
Yeah.
fiction, the trick is same thing, intro, you start with a good hook. That first line has to be strong, something catchy, something that's going to grab the reader's attention because you only have like 5 seconds. And then
Mm-hmm.
the middle part again, you're pacing the story or you're pacing that chapter, and then the end is a sucker punch.
Okay.
You give them the sucker punch, and
Right.
then the next chapter you pick up again. Yeah. So now the next chapter, the second chapter after that, you're picking up from the sucker punch, because the whole thing with writers, and I know I'm giving away a lot of secrets, but that's how you create page turners. That's how you get them to keep reading your story. If you
Uh,
put your if you start off with a bang and then it fizzles, then you have like a good pace and then it fizzles at the end. What's making me want to turn that page and continue reading your book?
right. Right.
So yeah, that's the fun. It's fun. I love it. It's fun. But the
Yes.
crazy thing is, I knew nothing about writing. Let's put it this way. I had a friend in middle school who taught me how to do the quotations
Mm-hmm.
and the dialogue, and just basically how to, like, we wrote by hand, so how to format it like that
Right.
by hand. That's all I knew. And she left me on my own to my own devices. And to her fault, she never taught me how to name people, so I blame her for that. My characters used to have horrible names.
Right. Right. Right.
She didn't teach me how to name characters. So.
Okay.
But
Okay.
yeah, I'm laughing because I'm gonna be doing an interview with her soon. Or she's gonna be interviewing me soon, so it's gonna be
Oh,
hilarious.
really?
But
Really?
yeah.
Well, I am definitely gonna stay connected. I did subscribe to the magazine, so I
Okay,
love
good.
the last issue. I love the cover. Oh my gosh,
Oh,
So I'm gonna
oh,
definitely stay
the
connected.
yeah, that's my friend. Yeah, the
Yeah,
one what I
with the
dedicated
green
Native Americans.
turban.
Oh,
With
with the green turban. Oh yeah, that was our first one. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Oh my
that was a
gosh.
beautiful one.
So
Yeah.
captivating. So
Yes, yes,
captivating. I
yes,
love, love,
yes.
love. So I did subscribe, and I've been
Oh,
reading, and
thank
so I
you.
can't wait for the next issue coming out.
Yes, yes, that's the one. And if you want to contribute, we are more than happy if you want to put in, talk about, Caribbean history or whatever you want to talk about. Where the topic is, I don't like to follow the the American, like, okay, this is Black History Month. This is the shortest month of the year.
Right.
I normally don't follow those. I don't follow like Native American History Month. Because I feel like this is stuff you should be learning every day. This is
Absolutely.
our history. It shouldn't be, stuck to one day. And I don't like the fact that they put Native American history in November, which is Thanksgiving. And I feel like that's just, they're making a mockery. That's my personal
Right.
opinion, though. Yeah. So,
Right.
but this basically what I'm looking at is it's pretty much like a Black History edition, But I want to have like good, powerful, just stuff that we didn't know. I would like for people to put it together and actually see like how it was in the past.
Right.
Not everybody has that slavery story, which people don't know. Not
Right.
my grandmother, she had a story, but I remember in school, and none of my friends ever had stories of their grandparents being born into slavery. None of them.
Mm-hmm.
Not to say it didn't exist. It's just
Exactly.
they didn't. Right. So I think it's interesting if I could get some elders to share some stories or
Right.
however. But that's what I'd like to do.
Yeah.
for the next one.
And it's
Yeah.
stories of the title or
Oh,
these.
Black. Collecting our. What's it? I haven't found the perfect wording for it because I try to keep it short. But basically, we're collecting stories of the past or collecting stories of our
Okay.
ancestors. Yeah.
Okay.
So, well, not that they're ancestors, some of them still alive. So.
Right, right, right.
Yeah. Oh
That
yeah.
sounds
So
good. I would
yeah,
love
anything.
to contribute a paragraph or something towards that. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yes. Then you could, you'll put your book in there.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're coming up on our 10 minutes, our last 10 minutes. So just for fun, I'd like to know what are some Trini sayings? What are some of your favorite Trini sayings?
Oh my God. Okay, so I got one for you.
Uh-huh.
Anytime is Trinidad time. Remember, I said that to you today.
Yes.
Anytime is Trinidad time. Because
Oh
it's
my
like,
God.
hey, we come and is
Mhm.
anytime is the right time.
Right.
I like that one. Let's see which one. Trini to the bone.
Trini to the bone, yeah. I used
Yes,
to hear it all the
yes.
time growing up.
Yeah, I like that one. How about you? What are a couple of yours?
Oh gosh. Well, my new favorite is, and this is a new one, but the Mats
Uh-huh.
is not Matson, or the Mats not Matson. Right.
Right.
You ever heard that one? The Mats not Matson? Yeah.
No, no, I
That one
haven't
is my
heard that.
favorite right now. You have heard that? It's
I,
new. It's new.
it's new.
But that was
Okay.
like when something's not adding up. Yeah, someone's telling you a story and it's like,
It's not adding
the
up.
Mats not Matson. Yeah.
Lord, Lord, Lord. I
Um,
miss those
Another one,
days.
of course, I made it of it is uh you was another one was it? Oh my gosh. Go Paul Luck ain't see Paul Luck?
Yes,
Yeah, go
yes.
Paul Luck ain't see Paul Luck. You
Right,
you ever,
right,
you
right.
ever remember that one? I know
I
it's been
remember
around for
that
a
one.
while.
I remember that one.
Yeah.
And never
So
see,
I
come
used to
go
like that
crazy.
one. Yeah, I used to oh gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, you broke up. What did you say? Say it again. You broke up.
Never see, come go crazy.
Oh,
You don't
I
remember
haven't
that
heard that
one?
one.
You haven't heard that one?
I don't know
Like
that one.
you
No.
never see
No,
anything
you guys say
and come
uh
see and you go crazy. It's
oh
like you never see, come go crazy.
oh I like that. I like that. What's the other one? I know monkey don't see your own tail, or something like that.
Right,
Yeah, monkey
right.
don't.
I remember that
Yes,
one.
yes.
I remember that one.
I
Boy.
I don't know. They're fun. I think all the islands. I know, like the one I learned from my Jamaican friend. She told me I said, well, she used to always say this. It's better to have it and not need it, and need it and not have it. She used to always say that to me.
Right,
And
right.
then can't really think of. But what I did, the reason why I asked is because in endurance, when I revised it, I put at the top of each chapter, I put a Trini saying. So
Ah.
yeah, it was fun. It was fun. It
Oh,
was
that's
fun.
good. That
Yeah,
is good. That
yeah.
is good.
I had
That's
it.
a good idea. That's a good
Yeah,
idea.
it
Well,
was fun.
they always say, "Come, let we go. Come, let we
Yes,
go."
yes,
Come, let we go. Let we go.
yes, yes.
But what's funny?
Mm-hmm.
I came to the U.S. when I was 13,
Mm.
and of course, growing up in New York, I had to lose my accent right away because everybody
Yeah,
was teasing me. It was
yeah,
like, okay, okay.
yeah.
And when I got, I don't know, some point or another, me and my mom went to Carnival in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, my God, all these old women, but I mean, they dress sharp. And
Yes.
I'm like, shouldn't you be a grandma, like getting ready for church tomorrow? But I realized that we're such a festive, vibrant people that
Yes.
age, there is no aging,
No.
And I
No.
was like, my gosh, like this is not grandma that's going,
Yeah.
sit down and she's like, oh, that's my song. Let me go, let me go, come, let me go. That's my
Drinking a
song.
shandy. Yeah.
Yes, yes. And I was like, my God, always want to celebrate. Now, that was my mom.
Yeah.
We had the party house. As a matter of fact, I thought about her yesterday and listening to some old songs because
Mm-hmm.
I always contribute my music and my dancing and my partying and all of that to mom because
Yeah.
that was her thing. There was always a
Yeah.
party going on. It was always lively. It was always fun. I kind of joke around. I was
Yeah.
like, well, my house was not playing Shirley C's on Sunday morning, okay?
No.
No.
Not Carnival Week.
Exactly,
No.
exactly, exactly,
No.
exactly.
Oh my God.
So no, but we are a vibrant people.
We are.
And very what's the word I want to use? What's the word? I don't want to say stable, but very strong minded, got good work ethics,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
um, able to sustain. We are strong, but we're
Yes.
stronger
Yes.
together.
Yes. Yes. Like I know people probably be surprised. My first club experience was with my mom and her sisters and my cousins. And people they're like, "What?" But yeah, I started going clubbing with my mom at like 11 come Carnival Week. I
Exactly.
remember, and I couldn't keep up with my mom and my aunts. I could not keep up with them. I ended up getting heat stroke. My mom drove after, I can't remember, we partied. Oh gosh, we went to the party, party, dance, and then then we went to carnival, and then did the whole carnival thing, and then it was party again at night.
After that.
After
Oh,
that, oh, I couldn't. After carnival, I was done. I ended up getting heat stroke. My mom,
right.
my mom dragged me home, put me in the bed, said, "All right, well, you lay there." She gave me two like Tylenol, shut off the lights, told my
And
grandma
she's
I'm gonna be
gone.
home, and she was gone.
Gone. Yep. Yep. And
I,
it's funny you said that because even Christmas is a party
mhm.
where they
Yes,
parang.
Quran. Yes, yes,
Oh
yes.
my God, I used to love that. I used to love
Oh,
that.
see that
You know,
I only used to hear about. I never because I was living in in Florida. No, even if my family, my family, the way we would live was kind of like we kind of moved together in a tribe.
uh-huh.
So one family member bought a house in a one area, and the other was bought a house in a similar area close by. So I could walk to most of my aunt's houses when I was growing
Right.
up. Yeah, so that was nice. That was nice. I like that.
Yeah.
But yes, but we still didn't. We would go to each other's houses, but yeah, I used to hear about it, but I never really got to experience it.
Experience it.
So
Oh my God.
yeah,
That
yeah,
was it, girl. And when they take the bottle and they hitting it, and you
yes,
could just
yes,
party off of the bottle being
yes,
hit with a spoon. And
yes.
that was all you need to party
That's
with.
all
You know
you
what I
need.
mean?
It's so simple. Oh my gosh, yes. I don't know. I think growing up Trini, or I should just say just Trini, but growing up like with your parents from the islands, your family from the islands, is different. It's fun. Like the things that we did that we found fun. I know other people were like, "What is that? That you
Exactly.
can't go clubbing with your mom." What?
No.
That was the best person to go clubbing with.
Exactly. Exactly. No, no. It has always been a fun thing. Even my dad,
Yeah.
he was in his 70s, still going to every carnival from,
Wow.
Fort Lauderdale, Miami, Orlando.
Yes.
He starts following all of.
Yeah. See, I grew up in the Miami Carnival. I never went to Orlando. I didn't go think I went to any other Miami and Fort Lauderdale. Yeah, and that was it.
Okay, right.
Yeah, yeah. But I know
So no,
Miami was like the best back then.
I could imagine. I
Yeah.
never did. I did Fort Lauderdale,
Hmm.
but I did Tampa and Orlando when I
Oh
lived in
wow.
Tampa.
Yeah.
But I never. I wanted to do Canada. I heard Canada
I
has
heard
one of
Canada was
the
good
best
too.
ones.
I heard that too.
Yeah, I've never been to
But New
Canada, but
York
I would
has
like
one
to do
too,
that.
right?
Huh?
Yeah. Does New York have one? I heard New York
Oh
had one.
yeah,
The car. Yeah.
Eastern Parkway on Labor Day
Yeah.
weekend. Now that was the
Ah,
big
okay.
one. Yes, ma'am. Girl,
Wow.
Brooklyn on
Mm.
Labor Day weekend.
Wow.
You could forget it. All, as you say, all weekend is a party.
Right. Yep.
Oh
Oh
my
my
God.
God.
Thank you for
Oh.
taking me back down memory lane, girl.
Anytime. I have fun. Look, that's how it was for me when I revised endurance. I don't know. It has a heavy Trini influence in that book. But I tried to do it to where anybody who's not from Trinidad won't be, like they can't understand what's going on. They still,
Right.
but it's still, yeah. Because my main characters are from Trinidad. So
Okay,
I
and
was
that's
like,
your book, Endurance.
endurance, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And so
Yeah.
you have it back. It's out now, right? That's
Yes.
the one that
I
you
recommend
revised.
Yes, I recommend going to my website if you want to get it from my website. I'm still waiting for Amazon to update it. It takes them a while. It takes them
Okay.
like a couple weeks or something. I don't know. That's what they keep telling me. But
Okay.
I'm recommending anybody because I on my website I have full control, so it's up. And if you have
I'll
any issues,
definitely look into it.
you know,
I'll definitely look into it. That would bring
yeah,
back such good memories.
yeah, yeah. It's fun. It was fun. I just and see, I'm Trinidad American, so I was born here, but I like I tell people like it's when your whole household is Trinidadian, it's just the location is different, but everything
It's,
else
it's the same.
is the same. You still get cuss, you
Absolutely.
still get licks, nothing changed.
Nothing's
So
changed.
it's just the location. That's it. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh my gosh. Well, it was a pleasure having you. I'm glad
Oh,
we did this interview.
I am so glad we did too. You really brought a lot of smiles
Yes.
to me today, April. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And when we do your next anthology, we got to come on again. We can talk about that.
Absolutely.
And then your
Absolutely.
next book, we just got to keep it going. Yeah.
Absolutely. 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 We will.
Oh my God. So you have a beautiful rest of your evening.
You as well. And thank you again so much. I appreciate it.
You're
Okay.
welcome.
We'll be
You're
in touch.
welcome. I will.
Okay. So
All right.
long.
Bye
Bye.
bye.